Welcome to Emotions and Moods at Work. Have you ever felt happy, stressed, or calm at work and you weren't sure why? In this session, we will learn what emotions and moods are, where they come from, and why they matter for your work and your life. By the end, you will be able to distinguish between emotions and moods, understand how work events influence how we feel, and use simple strategies to manage feelings wisely. Let's begin with three key ideas: affect, emotions, and moods. Think of affect as a big umbrella. Under this umbrella, we find all kinds of feelings. Emotions and moods both live under this umbrella. Emotions are short and strong. They usually have a clear cause. For example, you might feel angry right after you receive unfair feedback, or you might feel joy right after you hear good news. Moods are different. Moods last longer and feel less intense. Often, there is no clear reason why a mood begins. You might feel calm for half the day, or a little irritated all afternoon, and you cannot point to a single event that started it. So remember this: affect is the big category. Emotions are short and strong with a clear trigger, and moods are longer and softer with no clear trigger. Now let's talk about positive and negative affect. Feelings have two important qualities. First, we can think of them as positive or negative. Second, we can think about their energy level: high energy or low energy. Imagine a circle that maps feelings by positivity and by energy. High energy positive feelings include excitement and alertness. Low energy positive feelings include calmness and contentment. On the negative side, high energy negative feelings include nervousness and stress. Low energy negative feelings include boredom and tiredness. Try to notice not only whether you feel good or bad, but also whether your energy is high or low. This simple habit helps you choose better actions. For example, if you feel positive but tired, you might choose quiet work. If you feel positive and energized, you might share ideas or start a complex task. Researchers often discuss a set of basic emotions that many people recognize worldwide: happiness, surprise, fear, sadness, anger, and disgust. Even though these emotions seem universal, how we express them can vary widely across cultures. Some cultures encourage open smiles and enthusiasm. Other cultures prefer a quieter style. The important lesson is this: the emotion inside and the expression outside are not always the same thing. When you work across cultures, look for gentle cues, ask respectful questions, and avoid fast judgments. There is another important group called moral emotions. Moral emotions are feelings connected to our quick judgments about right and wrong. Emotions like guilt, shame, moral anger, or moral pride can be very strong because they touch our values. People usually learn these emotions in childhood, and they can differ across cultures because ideas about right and wrong also differ. One common pattern is that we judge people in our own group more kindly and judge people in other groups more harshly for the same behavior. This can create a double standard. As a manager or teammate, it helps to pause, consider the context, and ask yourself, what value or rule is being touched here? Then choose a response that is fair and thoughtful. Now, there is one more important point. We do not all experience emotions and moods in the same way. Two people can face the same situation and still feel very different. One person may feel calm, another may feel tense. That is normal. In fact, research shows something interesting called a positivity offset. This means that when nothing special is happening, most people feel a little bit positive by default. Maybe not excited, but gently okay, like a quiet, good mood in the background. Do people in different countries feel emotions differently? Yes, there are differences across cultures in how strongly people tend to report positive and negative feelings. At the same time, people in most cultures recognize many of the same emotions and understand them in similar ways. A smile still tends to signal warmth. A frown still tends to signal concern. So we share a common human language of emotion. But our personal experience, how strong a feeling is, how long it lasts, and how we talk about it, is shaped by our culture, our family, and our habits. Some people worry that emotions make us irrational. We often hear, "Don't be emotional, be rational." This creates the idea that emotion and reason are enemies. If you show emotion, you might look weak or unstable. But emotions actually serve a useful purpose. They are information. They tell us what matters, what needs attention, and where our values are being touched. For example, if you feel irritation during a meeting, that feeling might signal that something is unfair or unclear. If you feel pride after a hard task, that feeling reminds you that effort and growth are meaningful to you. When we notice emotions, name them, and then choose a wise response, we are not being irrational. We are using helpful data to guide our behavior. Emotions become a problem only when we ignore, deny, or let them drive our actions without reflection. The goal is not to erase feelings. It is to understand and guide them. You may now ask, where do emotions and moods come from? There are many sources. Some people have a personality tendency to feel emotions more intensely. If you are affect intense, your highs feel very high and your lows feel very low. Time of day matters too. Many people feel more positive in the mid-morning, and energy often changes into the evening. Day of the week can matter. In many cultures, weekends feel better and Mondays feel harder. People often believe that weather changes mood in a big way, but the research suggests the effect of weather is smaller than we think. Sometimes we connect two things just because they happen together. This is called an illusory correlation. Be careful not to blame the rain for what is really stress or poor sleep. Stress, however, truly affects mood. Stress can build up over time and lower our patience and energy. Social interactions also influence how we feel. A kind message from a colleague can lift your mood. A rude moment from a customer can bring it down. Some days feel like an emotional roller coaster, with ups and downs that leave us feeling mixed or even conflicted about someone. Sleep matters a lot. When sleep quality is poor, our mood usually suffers. Exercise is a powerful help. Regular movement tends to improve positive mood and reduce feelings of fatigue. Finally, people sometimes say that women are more emotional than men. The scientific differences in emotional display across genders are small and are often explained by upbringing, social expectations, or even how measure emotions, rather than by biology. The takeaway is to treat people as individuals, not stereotypes. Next, let's look at emotional labor. Emotional labor means showing the emotions your job requires, especially in roles that deal with people. For example, a customer service agent is expected to sound friendly and patient, even when feeling tired or upset inside. It helps to know the difference between felt emotions and displayed emotions. Felt emotions are what you truly experience inside. Displayed emotions are what you show on the outside, because your role or company expects it. Many organizations have display rules for important interactions, especially with customers. There are two common strategies people use. Surface acting means you hide your real feelings and put on a mask. Deep acting means you try to change your inner feelings so your display becomes more genuine. When there is a big and constant gap between what you feel and what you must display, you experience emotional dissonance. Emotional dissonance is exhausting. People who do a lot of surface acting need time to rest, reset, and recharge. If you manage others, plan real breaks and recovery time for people in heavy emotional labor roles. This brings us to a very helpful model called Affective Events Theory, or AET. AET says that events at work create emotional reactions, and these reactions influence our attitudes and behaviors. Even small events matter, especially when they add up over days or weeks. One rude comment from a customer may be manageable. Many rude comments across a week can change how an employee feels about their job and how they serve the next customer. As a manager or teammate, do not ignore small emotional events. They are data. Ask yourself, what happened here? How might it feel to the person, and what support or recognition could help? When we treat emotions as information, we make better choices. Now let's talk about emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is the ability to notice emotions in yourself and others, understand what they mean, and regulate your responses wisely. People with higher emotional intelligence often work better in teams, help others more, make better career decisions, and perform more consistently. Can we learn emotional intelligence? Many skills related to noticing, naming, and reframing emotions can be developed with practice, coaching, and feedback. A related idea is emotion regulation. Emotion regulation means identifying what you feel and then choosing helpful ways to manage it. One effective method is cognitive reappraisal. Cognitive reappraisal means you reframe how you see a situation. For example, you might replace the thought, "This feedback is an attack," with, "This feedback is hard to hear, but it can help me improve." Social sharing is another tool. It means talking about what happened and how you feel with someone you trust. Healthy sharing can reduce anger and help you think more clearly. Suppressing your feelings, pushing them down, can help for a short time in a true crisis, but it is not a good long-term strategy. If you always suppress, the stress tends to build. Surface acting and deep acting, which we discussed earlier, are also regulation strategies. But remember that surface acting is more tiring when used for long periods. Regulation takes energy, so plan time to recharge. One more insight is that chasing positive experiences often works better than only avoiding negative ones. For example, taking a short walk, sending a thank you message, or doing a small helpful act can shift your mood more reliably than simply trying not to feel bad. Diversity at work can also influence how we regulate emotions. In mixed teams, people often make more effort to communicate respectfully and to adjust their style so everyone can work well together. This can be helpful when it is conscious and fair. The goal is not to be fake. The goal is to be thoughtful, kind, and effective. Let's connect these ideas to everyday organizational behavior. During hiring, many employers consider emotional intelligence, especially for jobs that require a lot of interaction with people. Interviewers are also influenced, sometimes without noticing, by how applicants display emotions. In decision-making, positive moods can help people solve problems better, while anger can push people towards stronger and sometimes riskier choices. For creativity, a good mood can make it easier to generate ideas, although it is not a guarantee. For motivation, positive moods often lift effort and persistence. Leadership is deeply emotional. Leaders who communicate inspiring goals and share authentic positive emotions often create more optimism, cooperation, and creativity. Interestingly, there are times when a leader's display of sadness can make followers focus more carefully on tasks and details, perhaps because they sense the importance of the moment. In negotiation, emotions also play a role. Negotiators who feel angry and have less power usually get worse outcomes. After a bad negotiation, negative emotions can make people less willing to share information next time, which hurts future deals. In customer service, emotions spread quickly. This is called emotional contagion. A positive service employee often creates a positive customer experience, which leads to better satisfaction and repeat business. In work-life balance, moods can spill over from work to home and from home to work. Finally, negative emotions can fuel unethical or counterproductive behaviors. For example, envy may tempt someone toward harmful actions. These spirals can grow if not addressed. Managers should pay attention to early signs and help people de-escalate. Safety is also connected to mood. When people are in a negative mood, they may feel more anxious and distractions increase risk. Planning work and rest with emotions in mind can reduce accidents. Let's gather the key lessons for managers and for anyone who works with other people. Emotions are normal at work. Good management does not mean an emotion-free workplace. Instead, emotions are useful signals. Try to anticipate how people may feel when you announce changes or give feedback. Choose your timing and your words with care, and then notice the reactions. Encourage strategies that are healthier and more effective, such as deep acting, genuine expression, and cognitive reappraisal, instead of constant suppression. Model authentic, positive mood when you can. because positivity supports better decisions, more creativity, and stronger motivation. Watch for small emotional events that add up over time and check in with people before stress grows into conflict. To close, let's do a quick review. Emotions are short and strong and usually begin with a clear event. Moods last longer, feel less intense, and often have no single cause. Many things shape how we feel, including our personality, the time of day, stress, sleep, exercise, and our social world. In many jobs, we perform emotional labor, which creates a gap between what we feel and what we must display. That gap can be tiring, so plan recovery. Work events create emotions, and those emotions shape our attitudes and our actions. Emotional intelligence and emotion regulation give us tools to notice, understand, and respond wisely. When we treat emotions as information and choose thoughtful actions, we improve teamwork, leadership, customer service, negotiation, safety, and well-being.